Welcome back to the TradeProFX YouTube channel. If you're new here, this is where we break down real strategies that work in real market conditions, especially on the Deriv platform. This channel is all about clarity, simplicity, and actual results. We don't just teach you how to trade, we show you how we're trading live. And today's video is one of the most practical and transparent you'll see. I'm going to walk you through exactly how I manage high-value client accounts. Real people who have entrusted me with their funds and real trades that deliver consistent profits. So, stay with me because what I'm about to share with you is more than just a strategy. It's a system, a mindset, and a professional approach to growing capital with confidence. Now let's get into it. Today's session is about showing you how I personally manage accounts that each have over $1,000 in capital. I get this question a lot. Why do I focus so much on bigger accounts? And the truth is, the strategy I use works across all account sizes. But when you're working with a larger balance, you can apply it in its most powerful and efficient form. It's not that you can't trade with $10 or $50. You can, but the technique I use becomes almost perfect when the capital can support the level of risk and precision that's required. In fact, with bigger accounts, I rarely go beyond 6 trades. That's right, just 6 carefully analyzed and highly accurate trades are all I need. And I only take those trades when I'm fully certain the market conditions support it. This certainty comes from market structure, candlestick behavior, and entry timing, all based around the higher-lower contract on Deriv. Now, what exactly is the higher-lower contract type? It's one of the most reliable forms of trading on the Deriv platform when used properly. You're basically predicting whether the price, after a series of 5 ticks, will be strictly higher or strictly lower than the entry point, plus or minus a specific barrier. For my strategy, when I'm trading lower, I use a plus 0.60 barrier, and when I'm trading higher, I use a minus 0.60 barrier. This gives the market room to move, but not too much. I only need the candle to close within a calculated direction based on strong analysis for me to secure a payout. This small range, combined with precise entry timing, creates a very high chance of success. But you can't enter randomly. The timing has to be perfect. That's why I always trade at the final 20 seconds of a candlestick, because by then, I already know how that candle is going to finish. Whether it's bullish or bearish, the final moments confirm what the market has been building up to. That's when I enter. So today, I'll show you 3 real client accounts that I currently manage. These are just 3 out of many. And I chose them because they clearly demonstrate how effective this strategy can be when applied correctly. As the videos run, I want you to watch carefully. Pay attention to how I take trades. I'm not just clicking trades for the sake of it. I'm observing, analyzing, and making calculated decisions. Every trade you see is placed after proper evaluation of candlestick structure, tick patterns, and direction confirmation. Once I identify the setup, I enter the trade, and then I wait. That's it. I don't interfere. I don't panic. I trust the setup because the market already told me where it's going. That's the kind of discipline you need if you want to consistently win in binary options, especially when handling high-value accounts. What you'll also notice in these examples is that I don't rush into multiple trades. I wait patiently for the next confirmed opportunity. This is key when managing client funds. You're not just protecting your own capital, you're handling someone else's trust and expectations. That's why I never force trades. If the conditions aren't right, I wait. Sometimes I can watch the market for a full session and only take 1 or 2 trades, because I know that when the setup appears, it will be enough. That's the difference between random trading and strategic account management. And this same approach is what I encourage all serious traders to adopt. Now, for those of you using small accounts, maybe $10, $20, or $50, don't be discouraged. The strategy still applies. But understand that the smaller the capital, the tighter the margin for error. You'll need to lower your barriers even more, and that increases the risk. That's why I always advise you to focus more on learning the market, reading candles, observing momentum, understanding tick patterns, and only then should you apply the strategy with real funds. Even if you don't have a large balance, Build your accuracy. Master entry timing. Get familiar with the last 20-second entry rule. All of these will help you build confidence and consistency, even with smaller trades. But for now, focus on what I'm doing on these 3 accounts. As you can see on screen, I'm entering trades only when I've deeply analyzed the movement. I don't place back-to-back trades. I wait, and once I get my confirmation, I execute. That's the process. That's what I've trained myself to do, and that's what I apply across every account I manage. The reason this strategy works so well, especially with bigger accounts, is because we're not trying to force a win out of thin air. We're using market data, timing, and minimal movement to our advantage. I don't need a massive candle. Now, as we continue, I want you to pay even closer attention to how decisions are made. Not just the results. Many traders get distracted by outcomes alone, but the outcome is simply a reflection of the process. In every one of the 3 accounts you're observing in this session, the results you'll see are the byproduct of preparation. There's a reason I always say that trading should never feel rushed. Every entry is deliberate. Every trade is a decision based on confluence, that is, multiple factors aligning to confirm one market direction. Whether I'm going higher or lower, that decision has already been made well before I click the purchase button. And that's the level of calm you should aim for. The more you train yourself to wait for confirmation, the more consistent your results become. This is especially true when you're handling larger capital. The temptation to trade more just because you can is dangerous. With a $1,000+ account, you don't need more trades. You need better trades. That's a mindset shift. I see many traders trying to scale with quantity, taking 20 to 30 trades in one session. But that approach burns out accounts and rarely ends in profit over time. What I've learned and what I'm showing in this video is that precision trading is the key. I can have just 3 trades and close the day with remarkable profit. And that's not luck, it's calculation. Let me explain something else that often gets overlooked. The market's behavior is not random. When you're working with synthetic indices like Volatility 100 on Deriv, the price movements follow patterns. They may not be perfect, but they're structured. That's why candlestick psychology is so important. When you know what a candlestick is telling you, whether it's a rejection, a continuation, an exhaustion, then you're no longer guessing. You're interpreting the market's language, and that's exactly what gives me the confidence to make high-stake entries. It's not about trying to force the market to go your way. It's about knowing when the market has already shown you where it's going. I should also talk about trade frequency. When I say I don't run more than 6 trades in any client session, it's not a rule based on fear. It's a discipline rooted in math and psychology. After 5 to 6 confirmed trades, the accuracy of your reading starts to shift. Fatigue sets in. Doubt creeps in. Your analysis becomes slightly less sharp. So even if I still have time left in the trading window, I step back. I don't continue unless the setup is very clear. This helps avoid overtrading and preserves the integrity of each session. That's how capital is protected while still growing steadily. Another thing I'd like to emphasize is the use of multiple layers of confirmation. In these examples, while you're watching the trades execute, keep in mind that I'm also looking at broader indicators, even when they're not on screen. I cross-reference momentum indicators, support and resistance zones, volume pressure, and even recent tick volatility. All of these give me a better understanding of whether a 0.6 pip move is likely in the direction I want. Because remember, that's all I need, just that movement. Not 5 points, not 10 points, just a tight move beyond the entry spot barrier. That's the beauty of the higher-lower contracts on Deriv. You don't need massive swings to profit. You need precision, timing, and confidence built on preparation. Now, this entire methodology isn't something I built overnight. It's the result of continuous observation, trial, error, and refinement. But today, you don't have to go through all of that blindly. I've already packaged this strategy in a simplified form through TradeProFX. That's where I teach the core concepts: entry rules, timing, barrier setting, indicator setup, and most importantly, the mindset that holds it all together. Because trading isn't just technical, it's deeply psychological. You can have the right tools and still lose money if you lack control. But with structure, discipline, and proven execution, the market becomes far more predictable than most people think. In fact, I often tell traders to think of Deriv like any professional market, just like Forex or stocks. Traders like Jeffrey Benson in Forex don't win by being lucky. They use capital strategically. They aim for small but consistent returns and manage risk with surgical discipline. I do the same here. I use strong capital, target small movements, and close in profit before the market turns. Whether it's a 2% gain or a full target reached, the focus is on precision. That's why I say to anyone watching this, it's not about how many times you trade. It's about how well you trade when you do. So for the rest of this session, keep watching the live trades. Observe how patient the entries are. Look at the results, not just the wins, but the approach behind them. This is how real account management is done. If you want to do this yourself, and yes, you can, then learn to build that same patience and structure. Start with your demo account if necessary. Build the skill. Then scale up slowly. And once you're ready, apply everything you've seen today with the confidence of someone who knows the market is just waiting to be read. What you've seen in today's session isn't just trading. It's structured account management based on discipline, timing, and a well-tested strategy. I've shown you how I personally grow client accounts that hold real money and real expectations. You've seen how I analyze the market, how I enter trades at precise moments, and how I let the strategy do the work once the setup is confirmed. Whether it's one trade or 6, every entry is calculated. Nothing is random, nothing is rushed. And while this session only covered 3 accounts, the approach remains the same across every portfolio I manage. It's all about understanding the market, knowing when to act, and having the courage to sit out when conditions aren't right. That's the difference between gambling and professional trading. It's a mindset anyone can develop. And everything I've shown you today is something you can learn, practice, and master over time. So take what you've learned today seriously. Rewatch the trades, study the entry points, understand the role of timing and barrier selection. Whether you're starting with $10 or managing $10,000, the principles don't change. They just scale. And once you've built your consistency, everything else will follow. Thank you for being part of today's breakdown. Keep learning, stay focused, and trade with clarity. This is TradeProFX, and we're here to help you grow smarter, not just faster. Until next time, take care, and I'll see you in the next session.